What makes Evan's fight especially intense is the personal history behind it. Every blow isn't just physical, it's emotional. There are old grudges, unspoken resentments, and lingering betrayals embedded in each clash. The fight isn't random. It's a culmination of past tensions that have been simmering, and every strike carries years of conflict. His opponent is not just another person to defeat. They are the embodiment of every obstacle Evan has faced, the pressure of expectations, and the weight of past failures. The tension builds naturally, the pacing deliberate, as the audience feels the emotional and physical stakes intertwined. This makes the fight gripping not just for its intensity, but for its storytelling, revealing layers of Evan's character that words alone could never capture. The environment around the fight amplifies the chaos. Objects collide, walls are brushed or struck, and the space itself becomes part of the battle. Viewers can feel the intensity through the way the scene is constructed, the energy of each impact, the movement, the way tension ripples outward to affect everything and everyone nearby. Evan's focus is razor sharp. Even when the fight threatens to overwhelm him, he adapts, using instinct and learned skill to stay in control. Yet, there's an edge of unpredictability. The slightest miscalculation could turn the fight completely, and that uncertainty keeps viewers on the edge of their seats. Every moment of this sequence is packed with suspense, danger, and excitement, making it a pivotal moment in the episode. By the climax of the fight, Evan's intensity reaches its peak. He is no longer just fighting for victory, he is fighting to assert himself, to prove his resilience, and to confront everything that has been pushed onto him. His movements, once precise and calculated, now carry an almost reckless power. Fueled by adrenaline, emotion, and sheer determination, the outcome is explosive, leaving lasting consequences for him, his opponent, and everyone connected to the conflict. This fight is not just a spectacle, it is a character-defining event, one that leaves viewers stunned, breathless, and fully invested in what happens next. It is the kind of scene that lingers in memory, the kind that transforms a character and reshapes the story around them. By the end of Section 3, it's clear, Evan's fight was more than just a physical battle. It was a complete emotional eruption, a turning point that will echo through every scene to come. Section 4 begins in the silence after the storm, a quiet that feels heavier than the chaos itself. Manny and Evan have both changed in ways that cannot be undone, and the world around them is left to react to the aftermath. It's in these moments that the episode reveals its subtle brilliance, showing that the true impact isn't just in the fight or the transformation, it's in the ripple effects. The way every action alters relationships, trust, and perception. Manny sits alone, his reflection now almost unrecognizable even to himself. The anger, the pain, the intensity of his transformation has left marks beyond the physical. He is quieter than before, but his presence dominates every room he enters. Friends who approach him do so cautiously, aware that this new Manny carries power and unpredictability that was never there before. The episode lingers on these quiet interactions, emphasizing that transformation is not always loud. It can be silent, creeping, and devastatingly effective. At the same time, Evan's fight has left visible and invisible scars. Bruises fade, but the tension in his stance, the caution in his movements, and the lingering adrenaline tell a story that the camera doesn't need to explain. The people around him react in subtle ways, some with fear, others with respect, and a few with confusion. It's clear that this fight was more than just a physical challenge. It was a defining moment that reshaped how everyone sees him. Even minor gestures, a glance, or a nod carries the weight of what just happened. The episode carefully highlights these small details, showing that consequences extend far beyond the immediate scene. Every whispered conversation, every uncertain glance, and every hesitant step adds layers to the unfolding drama. Viewers are left piecing together the invisible threads connecting Manny's transformation to Evan's explosion, understanding that episode 4 is more than the sum of its shocking moments. Hidden details throughout the episode make this story even richer. A subtle exchange in the hallway, a fleeting look in the background, or an overlooked line of dialogue suddenly takes on new meaning when revisited, the creators cleverly plant these Easter eggs, showing that every character's reaction, no matter how small, matters. Manny's clenched fists in the corner of a frame, Evan's hesitation before landing a decisive move, or a friend quietly stepping back at a critical moment, all of it builds a network of tension and suspense. These details reveal that the episode is not just about shock value, it's about the careful construction of relationships, trust, and emotional stakes. Viewers who pay attention notice the foreshadowing of future conflicts, the hints of hidden motivations, and the subtle ways characters begin to shift around one another. Emotionally, episode 4 delivers a punch that lingers long after the screen goes dark. Manny's transformation challenges viewers to consider how far a person can be pushed before they change entirely. Evan's fight forces reflection on how anger and pressure can manifest, both physically and mentally. The aftermath scenes allow for reflection, showing that consequences are rarely immediate, they ripple outward, affecting everyone connected to these characters. By highlighting reactions, pauses, and silent moments, the episode emphasizes emotional depth over spectacle. Every character feels the weight of the events differently, creating a layered story where personal growth, fear, regret, and triumph coexist. By the end of Section 4, it's clear that Episode 4 is a turning point in the series. The brutal transformation, the insane fight, and the hidden nuances combine to create a complex, unforgettable chapter that reshapes the narrative entirely. Section 5 begins in the quiet moments after all the chaos, when the dust has settled and the consequences of Episode 4 start to sink in. Manny and Evan are no longer just characters in a story, they are forces whose actions ripple outward, changing everything around them. Manny's brutal transformation has left an undeniable mark. People who once laughed with him now hesitate, unsure how to approach him. There's a tension in the air whenever he enters a room, a silent warning that he is no longer the same. His friends feel the distance growing, a mixture of fear and awe, as they try to navigate this new reality. Even those who once challenged him begin to second-guess their moves, realizing that the quiet Manny is now dangerous in ways they never anticipated. The episode lingers on these subtle dynamics, emphasizing that transformation is not just physical, it's emotional and social, altering how every relationship functions. Evan's fight, meanwhile, leaves its own long-lasting consequences. The physical battle is over, but the emotional fallout continues. He carries the weight of the fight with him, visible in his cautious movements and intense expressions. His opponents, friends, and rivals all react differently, some with respect, some with fear, and others with suspicion. It's clear that no one will look at him the same way again. The episode subtly shows the ripple effects of every punch, every decision, and every outburst. Even small gestures, a glance, a word, or a pause carries significance. The tension that was explosive during the fight now transforms into quiet, simmering anticipation, a reminder that past actions will shape future events. Every viewer can sense that nothing will return to the way it was, and that the next episodes will build on this new reality. The aftermath also reveals deeper emotional layers for both Manny and Evan. Manny struggles with the realization that change has consequences. His transformation has given him power, but it has also isolated him. The silence around him is not peaceful. It is heavy with unspoken words and missed opportunities. Evan, on the other hand, confronts the moral weight of his actions during the fight. Every victory carries a cost. Every punch leaves a mark, not just on his opponent, but on himself. The episode carefully explores these consequences, showing that growth and recklessness often travel hand in hand. The interplay between action and emotion adds a richness to the story, making viewers reflect on the characters' decisions and the long-term impact of their choices. Finally, Section 5 sets the stage for future events, teasing the paths the characters might take next. Manny's transformation is far from over, it has only begun, and the episode hints at challenges that will push him even further. Evan's fight serves as both a climax and a warning, foreshadowing rivalries and conflicts that are yet to explode. Friends, allies, and enemies all adjust their strategies, reacting to the shifts in power and personality. The tension is no longer contained in individual moments. It spreads outward, affecting the entire narrative landscape. The episode ends, not with resolution, but with anticipation, leaving viewers on edge and eager for what comes next. Episode 4, through its brutal transformation, insane fight, and careful attention to emotional aftermath, becomes a turning point that reshapes the story, deepens the characters, and heightens the stakes for everyone involved. Section 6 dives into the emotional core of Episode 4, the part that lingers long after the fights and transformations fade from view. This episode doesn't just show action, it exposes what's happening inside the characters, revealing Manny has always been the quiet one, the kind of person who hides everything behind a calm face. But in Episode 4, something inside him shatters. By the end, no one recognizes him, not his friends, not his enemies, and maybe not even himself. And then there's Evan, whose fight explodes in ways nobody could have predicted. This isn't just another episode. It's a turning point, a collision of raw emotion, pain, and chaos that will leave everyone stunned. Every second counts, every glance, every word. And every choice builds to a moment you won't forget from the moment Episode 4 begins. The tension is almost unbearable. The camera doesn't even need to speak. The atmosphere tells you that something is about to snap. Manny wakes up in the middle of the night, alone in his room, staring at himself in the mirror. The reflection staring back is unfamiliar. His eyes, once calm and gentle, now carry a shadow, a mixture of anger, confusion, and pain. Every small movement seems heavier than before. It's not just physical. The air around him feels dense, like the weight of everything he's been holding inside is pressing down. He remembers the past weeks, the teasing, the subtle but sharp words from people he trusted, the betrayal he didn't see coming. Every memory bites like fire, leaving a trail of resentment and sadness. This is where the transformation begins, not sudden, but creeping, slowly changing Manny from the inside out. Outside, the world doesn't slow down. Friends and family go about their routines. But there's an invisible tension in every hallway and room Manny passes through. When he talks, his voice carries a sharp edge, just enough for people to notice something is off, but not enough to know what exactly has changed. He clenches his fists under the table, sits silently through conversations, and leaves before anyone can ask too many questions. The subtle shift is terrifying because it grows without warning. The audience can feel it, even before the other characters do. Every laugh around him seems distant, almost mocking, as if it exists in a world Manny is no longer part of. Then comes the first confrontation, the one that begins to truly shape this brutal transformation. A simple disagreement, a word thrown too carelessly, triggers a spark in Manny. For years, he has swallowed frustration and pain, but now it erupts in ways no one predicted. His response is controlled at first, careful, almost deliberate. But there's an underlying fury that cannot be ignored. The people around him freeze, sensing the change. It's a quiet kind of terror, the kind that creeps into bones and leaves the room colder than before. By this moment, viewers can already tell Manny is not coming back from this unchanged. The episode builds tension like a rope being pulled tighter and tighter, and every scene hints that the breaking point is inevitable. Meanwhile, Evan's storyline begins to intertwine with Manny's growing storm. While Manny wrestles with inner chaos, Evan is caught in his own web of pressure and rivalry. He senses the shift in Manny, but only as a distant warning. He's dealing with challenges of his own, fighting battles that are equally intense but more outwardly explosive. There's a parallel between them, one internal, one external. Manny's quiet rage contrasts Evan's visible aggression, but both are moving toward collision. Every glance Evan throws at Manny, every tense exchange, builds suspense. By the end of this section, viewers feel it deep in their chest, Episode 4 is not just another chapter. It is the point where everything begins to unravel. Even the smallest details amplify the tension. The way Manny avoids certain hallways, the way he glares at reflections in windows, the way Evan's fists clench before a fight, all of it signals that change is inevitable. This is a slow-burning setup, carefully layered so that when the transformation happens, it feels both shocking and unavoidable. It's not just about what Manny will do. It's about how his presence alters everyone. Else, friends begin to whisper, enemies start to plan, and viewers are left gripping the edge of their seats. Every scene in this first section is a foundation for the dramatic explosion that will follow, making it clear that episode 4 is the moment nothing will ever be the same again. Section 2 dives straight into the heart of Manny's transformation. The moment where the calm, quiet person everyone thought they knew begins to fracture completely. It starts with a single glance in the mirror, one that freezes him in place. His reflection isn't just a face, it's a map of everything he's endured. The subtle tension in his jaw, the tightness around his eyes, the way his shoulders slump. Even when he stands tall, all of it screams that something inside him has shifted. This isn't a sudden outburst or an instant change. It's slow, creeping, and relentless. Every insult he has ever endured, every betrayal he barely mentioned, every silent moment of frustration has stacked inside him like layers of weight, pressing harder with each passing hour. And now, episode 4 shows the world exactly what happens. When that weight can no longer be contained, Manny's transformation is not just physical, it's emotional, psychological, and almost frightening in its intensity. His usual expressions vanish, replaced by something raw and unpredictable. There's an edge to his movements, a way he tilts his head or narrows his eyes that signals danger without words. People around him notice the difference immediately. Even if they can't articulate it, friends exchange uneasy glances, unsure if they should approach or keep their distance. The ones who tried to hurt him before sense the subtle shift and instinctively retreat. Because the Manny they thought they understood is gone, he speaks less. But when he does, every word carries weight, a hidden sting, a calculated sharpness. That was never there before. The transformation is as much about control as it is about release the calm before the storm, carefully hidden, but impossible to ignore. The triggers for this change are layered, intertwined with events both small and monumental. A minor insult from someone he trusted sets a spark, while a betrayal he didn't expect fuels a fire that had been dormant for too long. Even simple interactions, once harmless, now feel like challenges to his patience, and he reacts in ways that leave others reeling. Manny begins to push boundaries, testing how far he can go before the world notices the change. Every step he takes feels deliberate, each glance calculated to reveal just enough of the darkness building inside. The episode lingers on these moments, letting viewers feel the tension in their own chest. It's as if the show is whispering, watch closely, because when Manny finally breaks, it will be impossible to look away. Even his physical appearance starts to reflect this inner chaos. The way he moves, the set of his shoulders, the glint in his eyes, it all shifts subtly, but unmistakably. There's a raw, almost animalistic quality to the way he holds himself now. It's not just anger, it's power, control, and survival instinct all tangled together. His interactions with people he once trusted become tests of their intentions. Every word he hears is weighed, every action scrutinized, and every gesture analyzed for hidden meaning. Those who underestimate him find themselves caught off guard, stunned by a side of Manny they never imagined. The episode takes time to show this transformation in layers, building suspense while revealing the full depth of what Manny has become. By the midpoint of the episode, Manny's transformation reaches a point where the tension around him becomes almost unbearable. He is no longer just reacting to the world, he is reshaping it. Small acts, once insignificant, now carry a threatening weight. His presence alone changes the atmosphere, making rooms feel smaller, conversations tenser, and relationships more fragile. The show emphasizes this by focusing on reactions around him. Friends and enemies alike are forced to adjust, to rethink their assumptions. Every choice Manny makes now is deliberate, and every glance hints at the storm that is about to break. The transformation is complete not because it is loud or flashy, but because it is subtle, unstoppable, and utterly compelling. By the end of Section 2, viewers are left with no doubt Manny is no longer the person he was, and everything in his world is about to feel the impact. Section 3 dives into the chaos that explodes when Evan finally loses control, the kind of fight that doesn't just happen, it demands attention. From the moment tension escalates, the air feels electric, heavy with anticipation. Evan isn't just defending himself. He's confronting every frustration, every grudge, every unspoken challenge that has been building around him for weeks. The first moments are almost calm, a deceptive stillness before the storm. He steps into the space with a purpose that radiates, every movement precise yet unpredictable. His eyes are sharp, scanning, calculating, but beneath that calculation is a raw, unfiltered intensity that can ignite at any second. As the fight begins, it's clear this isn't just physical combat, it's a clash of emotions, strategy, and personal stakes, where every action carries meaning far beyond the immediate. The fight quickly escalates in ways that shock everyone watching. Each strike, each dodge is layered with intention. Evan doesn't simply react. He anticipates, adapts, and sometimes manipulates the moment to his advantage. The choreography of this fight is brutal but calculated, a mix of desperation and skill. Viewers can sense the stakes with every movement. There's no room for error, no chance to look away. This is a defining moment for Evan, a turning point that not only tests his limits but also exposes the depths of his character. It's a fight where the lines between right and wrong blur,